Yeah, so I wanted to kind of
Yeah, the
be
problem,
able to know the actual title.
It has all that. We can go back to, we can go look up what month it was and pull that.
And, yeah, you can talk.
Elizabeth, was that comparable with what we're doing?
I mean, you know, we
Utility clerk it showed, and I looked at towns that are about 700 population here in Texas, and it looked about between $24,000 and $26,000 a year full time for a utility clerk.
see the other problem that's different is that most small towns, we're very unique in that as a small town, we own our utilities. Like most of the other cities, they outsource, right? They're not doing their own billing. They're not sending out monthly bills, they're not doing late fees, they're not doing shutoffs. Because you outsource to Upper Trinity or Mustang. We're like the only town in like all of Texas that has a sewer system.
So in essence, it costs them more because they're having to pay for a person, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
So the labor themselves, like for instance, if you went to Oak Point, they don't bill anything. They've outsourced everything. The Mustang bills, so the garbage company bills directly. Their utility person basically just takes off. No, because you bill the other party.
that's part of the problem that we have with her function is that she's not just a utility clerk. She has like 25 different key
And Ed can
functions.
show you that.
Well,
And yeah, I'll show you this.
I was going to say, I want to go back and look at the study because it's already set what her salary is.
And there's a bunch of
If we want to look
columns.
at it, she's got a performance appraisal coming up. We can go.
So
Yes, ma'am.
when it says payroll, is that for just one person, or would that include other miscellaneous like employees?
We don't have any other miscellaneous.
Yeah, so but like if you hired anybody else, would it be on there, or?
So what this represents, so
This is just-
what the town has done historically in the past is there's always been a two-person office. There was a city
Yeah.
secretary, then there was always somebody else that handled, doing putting your payments in and running to the bank, and it was typically a work-study student from Little Elm,
Okay.
or somebody like that got paid hourly. And that's what they did. They were a minion that kind of sat in the back that did these little things. Well, what we did, and they were paid out of the utility fund.
Okay.
So the utility fund, because you tried to get, the city secretary is a city thing,
Right.
but the clerk was a different thing. Well, we revamped everything, and what Summer actually does, she handles all the building inspections, all the scheduling, all the photographs, all that kind of stuff, all the scheduling, all the building inspections, all that, as well as all the utility stuff. She wears two hats. So we pay her out of this, because we're not going to split her paycheck in half and do that. But we only have two people. The most we've ever had in town is three.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point they had two minions,
Yeah.
but we became one less minion. And we,
And we
no
need-
meetings, but we have one less person.
Coordinators.
Yeah, we have a coordinator. Okay, so does anybody have any changes they'd like to make on the expense side? Liz? No? Okay. Okay. Any changes?
The question is, the town takes in $200,000 in taxes, how much do you think your payroll should be? Pick a number, guys. It ain't
This is
It's not, but our payroll is what it is. I mean, we have to operate the
So if
city.
you want to change the payroll, you have to do that. You need to evaluate her salary. Salary's already set.
Okay, so the salary, all right, so let's move on. All right, let's move on to then so one of the questions that came up was the road maintenance fund. So what we did, back when we put in the concrete roads, one of the things that I did was I told the council that we were going to take road repairs and road-related stuff and fund it separately. Because I needed the tax dollars to pay for the concrete streets. I need to make the bond payments. So we need to come up with another way to generate money that we could use to do road repairs. That was the idea. So that way, this thing, how much repair can we do? Well, how much is in the bucket? That way, it's discipline, because we needed to have very rigid discipline because we got to pay for these concrete roads. I got bond payments. So when there's bond payments, that's my focal point, is to make sure we can make our financing and our bond payments. This we need to do, but this is not primary. Primary is the bond payments. So what we decided to do was, the council agreed, we would set up a separate bucket that we would fund using different things. We have a sales tax. The town gets 1%. The EDC used to get 0.5%, the EDC. We said, let's take that 0.5%, put it in the bucket. That's what we did. We also have roll-off containers, and we have franchise fees from the garbage. We impose those fees on the garbage, those big roll-off containers you see at the construction sites. So we get some of that money, goes into this bucket. And then each September, we look at the bucket. Like last year, we looked at the bucket, and last year we had $31,000 in the bucket. So we spent $25,000 and did repairs on Melody and Carey. So this year, in 2017, so far we've got 13,000 come in, another 3,000. We've taken in 19,000 so far this year in the 9 months. We had 6 left over in the bucket from before. So right now we're sitting on $26,000 in the bucket. Now we had planned on spending another 25 on now doing Carey and High Ridge. That's the plan.
Which may be a little bit more in square footage.
And it may be more, but right now we have 26 today. I'm expecting that we're going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 31 or 32. We may spend more.
So are you only doing repairs on those 2 roads?
So right now the idea was this: when we put in the concrete streets. So let me just quickly back up real quick.
The front is like
Okay.
kind of crazy.
So this is the thing that Dan doesn't tell you because he wasn't here. When we came over in 2008, we spent $100,000 putting paving, doing blacktop on Shoreline, and we also did, which one was it? Was it Green Meadow? No, that was Lake Crest. Which one did we do? Oh, I'm sorry. We did Shoreline, Meadow Lake, and we did Woodcrest. We did 3 streets. Then 2 years later, because it took us 2 years to save the money, we blacktopped for $110,000. We blacktopped Stowe Lane. Then 2 years later, we looked at it and said, this blacktopping isn't working. Stop blacktopping. Because we'd already done 3 streets, and the next one we were starting to peel, we decided to stop it after we'd already spent the money. But, right, that's why Meadow Lake has got asphalt on it, and so does Stowe Lane. Those streets are paved. That was what we did, and we stopped and said, let's now do concrete. The deal that we made when we did concrete, the gentleman's agreement was, we can't do concrete and in the same bucket do road repairs. Road repairs has to wait. That's all we got. We got to wait and make the bond payments for a couple of years, figure out where we're at, make sure we're good. Then we can start getting back to doing repairs. But we're not spending $110,000 putting asphalt down on Carey and shred it in 3 years to put in concrete.
So
These are patches.
This bucket is going towards the concrete, or you're going to
No,
do
right
repairs?
now, what we're doing is, citizens have said, my street sucks. Some of them. A lot of them have great streets. And that's fair, because you know what? Melody Lane did suck. It was pretty ripped up. So this was our way of saying, we got to do something. We got to do something. They're not going to be pretty, but we're going to patch them. We're going to do the best patches we can do. Each year we'll try and patch it as best we can, but we're not going to make it perfect because we're going to rip it up. But we got to do something. You deserve for us to try and do something. So this bucket is us trying. Now, next year, or in September of this year, we're going to spend around, we're going to do 25 to 30. Now, if we finish Carey and High Ridge and it looks reasonable, then what I'm proposing in this budget here, we're going to have $33,000 next year. Maybe we don't need to do any repairs next year. Maybe it's good enough. Now we can divert some of this to either doing some of the preliminary work for the concrete roads, and that includes moving the mailboxes off of High Ridge. We know we got to get the mailboxes off the street. Maybe we start doing some of that with this money. On the other hand, maybe we do the repairs and we still need to do another round of repair. I don't know. We gotta wait until we get through September. But this bucket is legally available for us to do anything. This is a planning bucket. It's legally not separated. The accountant lumps this in with the general fund. It's a management bucket, not a legal bucket. We could use this to pay Linda's salary. But from a management perspective, we've decided this is the best way to address this issue, is to, how do you spend within your means? You fill a bucket. When the bucket's full, you spend it. So that's what this fund is.
Would you be considering?
Does anybody have any, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, would you be considering like repairs on the main road, since there's like that giant pothole she busted her
Up here on
tire?
Lakecrest?
Yeah, no, right here in the front, like this, yeah,
Yeah, we're thinking of everything.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, everything's open. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no,
It's
yeah.
not just those, yeah, it's the
So
whole thing.
the priority is how the streets that people live on, and then as we move out.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless-
everybody goes through that road.
Right.
And she busted her tire and messed up her rim on that pothole because somebody was, you know, kind of narrow. So, I mean, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's no agenda other than repairs.
So
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
there's no,
okay.
yeah.
Administratively, the way it works is Gary's been taking the lead on
Gary's
this.
got
So
the lead.
when we get ready to spend the money, he's gonna
Got
go
it.
do a survey and find out which ones are best, how much money we have, what's the quote, and then make a decision on where it fits best.
And you'll see when we do that, they come out orange painted. So
Okay.
everybody knows
Yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what's gonna get fixed.
Okay.
And that way, you know, and Gary will be handling that. So that's the objective. That's the plan. And if we don't, if we go as far as the money will take us, and if we don't get there next year, we'll reload and give it again.
Okay, so to the council, great idea, road range is separated, perfect idea. Let's take this to its logical conclusion in 5 or 6 years. In 5 or 6 years, you're gonna have been making patches, which is good, because you gotta keep things going where you can. You will have saved no money towards the concrete roads. We just said we're gonna have 4.5 million that we're gonna have to borrow. Think about the 1.6 in the budget, okay? You're gonna have 4.5, and the mayor went to Little Elm and stated that we're gonna roll in the remaining budget. So it's really gotta add another 3, 4, 5, I'm not sure. Add it up. So take a look at it in 5 years from now. If you've saved nothing, you got a $5 million hit that you're gonna do.
Yeah, but then people are gonna be running over that freaking hole and busting the car, and it's gonna
Yeah,
cost me
I
way more money.
I didn't say
out of my
don't,
pocket, so
Yeah,
this
I know what
works.
to do.
I didn't
You
say
don't
don't
have to
fix
do
the
major-
roads.
He's just saying you don't have to do major repairs.
All I'm
You can
saying
just
is,
do a little bit.
we're not putting any money at all away for the roads, that's all I'm saying. I agree with what Gary's doing in the patches, and we try to figure out best we can do. You know, and the ones that didn't work, we're gonna fix them, and I'm all in. The question is, not a single dime is being put away for the 5, 6 years.
But I won't spend money on my bus.
Okay, so let me explain
So we need
something.
another budget like this,
Okay,
but
so
for
let me
the-
explain how this works,
That's what
okay?
he's saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look,
Yeah, where do you want that money? He doesn't want to spend
Okay.
it on this, he
You
doesn't
need to look at your
Specific
All right, look.
where-
general
Look,
fund.
let me,
General
okay,
fund.
I'm the one that did the financing for the last round of roads, so let me tell you how it works, okay? What we do is we have a general fund reserve. We have a reserve for the city. It's a city reserve. It's where our money goes. That money goes into that reserve fund, and then as we need money during the year, we take it out. We grew that reserve fund. We went from being bankrupt in 2008, we grew it up to $700,000. Then we started the concrete roads, okay? That's where we put the money in the reserve. Yes, we don't have a line that says road reserve. We have a city reserve fund. Right now it's got about $120,000 in it. At the end of this year, it's going to have about $140,000. Next year it'll have more than that. We grow the general reserve fund up. We don't bifurcate it and say, here, the city reserve fund is for the city. We also have a reserve fund for the utilities. It's separate. We have 2 big, huge buckets that we put our money in, okay? So there is money being set aside for roads. It's just not called a road reserve.
And you.
We have almost $300,000 sitting in the bank today.
Well, then obviously somebody needs to tell Dan that, can we
Yeah.
move on? 'Cause
Yes,
at
let's
this
move on.
point,
I know it.
Obviously,
All right,
Dan doesn't
we got
know it's there.
Okay, let me get to the final question, then we'll move on. Yes, sir.
Where can we, I don't see anywhere in this where we see how much is in those reserves.
No, it's not on the budget. No, it's on the bank accounts.
I was just curious, is that
It
if
would be in the financials.
we would get in the financials?
They're telling me in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not in here.
All right, I wasn't sure, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, okay, so the road maintenance fund, I don't think there's anything here to change. All right, let me back up for a second real quick. There's the debt servicing fund, it's the usual. There's our bond payments, chug, plug, chug, all the numbers look good. We've already made the bond payment for this year, I've got to make the second one next month, so everything looks good. All right, on the council, here are CapEx projects. What do I have, Clint?
We're gonna do side farm.
Sorry. Okay, I need prioritization here. Did everybody get the email from Coleman?
Yes.
Okay, everybody knows we had major lift station problems on Stowe. Does everybody, I'd like to prioritize and put the lift station first. Does everybody want to fix the lift station?
Yes.
Okay, so that lift station gets fixed, all right? What about finishing off the hydrant on Parkwood?
Finish up the hydrant.
You got it? I think that's the only street in the city that doesn't have a fire hydrant.
That's
Are
also,
we done after
You're
that?
done with it.
The only one that's left, there's one left.
After this one?
Yeah, but that one's tricky because it's on peninsula.
we haven't really figured out the best way.
Okay,
Because we need to extend the water line to get there, and so it's a little bit more tricky.
so maybe more than 10,000?
No, this one, okay, so this one is easy.
Okay,
The only thing that makes this one slightly more expensive is that one of the things we do when we put in a hydrant is we put in valves.
yeah.
Because right now, it's kind of stupid in that if there is a leak, let's say on Hillside, right now we have to shut down this entire side of town. There should be valves at every intersection so that you can just turn off that part of the street. We've been retrofitting those back in, and we're almost done. Parkwood is the last set of valves that goes in with the fire hydrant. So if Parkwood has a massive main leak, we turn off the two ends of Parkwood. And the rest of the city doesn't even know what's going on because everything's looped. So that's why it's slightly more expensive because of the valves. But
So the other one is not gonna be, is gonna be less than this maybe?
the last one, the problem is,
What's like the worst set scenario here?
I don't know.
Well, it won't even be in
The
this.
problem with the last one is a fire hydrant has to go on a 6-inch water line.
She's looking for a number. I guess.
15.
There you go.
Okay,
But it
worst
won't-
case scenario,
Yeah.
But it won't,
one more at 15.
right,
But there are driveways involved. It's complicated. That's why I haven't brought it up yet.
and it'll be in the next budget
It's
cycle.
not going to be this year.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think switching those two, the fire hydrant's kind of nice, because it's a smaller of the two, so it kind of works with scheduling.
So what this means is I'll firm up, and the sewer plant improvements,
So that's more of what we're normally accused of not doing any planning and doing planning for the future.
I'm meeting with CoServe next week to try and come up with some ideas on fixing the utility problem we have down at the sewer plant, power problem.
So someday, when the town's entirely built out, we will have to expand the sewer plant. And some of the work we're doing here is planning for that expansion, but there's no reason why we couldn't move the power now, once we figure out how we want to expand it. So that's part of what's going on there.
The other thing that we've done, we're not going to move the fence. The shed that's out here, we're going to move that shed down to the utility plant so they can use it as an office. Because right now our utility people have to sit in their truck. There's no place for them to work. They can't fix anything. There's no way to fix a pump or anything. There is no place for it. So we're going to get that shed out of the water plant and move it down there.
There's a fourth one I want to add. I don't think we should do it, but just so we plan for it, is our emergency internet.
Right. You want to explain what that is?
So that when we reach a certain point of connections to 250, we either have a choice, we buy a backup generator, or we have an emergency interconnect to surface water. And that is going to be that would be the best route, because then at that point we're tied in and we have a second water source if we want one. I think the initial estimates around 80,000.
About 80,000.
So we don't have to go far, we have to go up to that water tank. Little Elm has agreed to say yes, we do it, but again, I don't think we'll do it this year, but I want to make sure we can keep it on the list so we can keep it in front of us.
It's out there.
You said when we get 250?
Yeah, we're 240 now,
What are we at now?
240. So, you know, if we get 3 or 4 houses, and TCQ's not gonna be in here with, you gotta get close, but it's clearly more, we don't wanna have emergency generators sitting there doing nothing. So it's a very reasonable way to do it, and it's nice because what they do is they meter it. So if we ever had a problem, not from power, let's say our well eats itself, we can always then
Just turn it on.
open up the valve, and we basically are buying water from the well. So it is an emergency. Yeah, we don't want
At
to
least
do
we
that.
have more.
Okay, so I will rearrange these. If everybody's okay, I'll give you some firmer numbers next time out. I'll firm them up,
Right, and
and then we can plug a number into that.
when we put that last fire hydrant, just for planning,
Okay.
that way it's just on the list for things on next year.
We've already talked about these. The playground is, of course, other project that Liz is going to, can I say you're going to take charge of that, Liz?
Sure.
Okay, Liz is going to take charge of the resurfacing.
Want
Okay.
it tested.
All right, so that ends my budget presentation. I'm taking notes on some of the numbers if you want to change. Are we good? Any questions? Any more remaining questions? We'll move on. Okay, then what we'll do is, they're not going to take a motion. They're not going to pass it, so there's no motion. So we're tabling it with it. We just move it on.
Okay, why do we have this as a consideration?
Because we can. Legally, we could pass it if we wanted to, but I said we're not going to. So. All right, next, number 4, discussion of the fence ordinance. So one of the things that, I'll just go over this real quickly. We periodically review ordinance. Some of our ordinances are old. The fence ordinance was written in I think the actual original one was 90-something, so it's over 20 years old. It actually isn't correct. A lot of the stuff in it is wrong. Things we don't require anymore, and definitions are all wrong. So there's issues with that. The more interesting issue to me is a question that I want to pose to the council, which is that it needs to be cleaned up anyway. But one of the issues that came up in 2002 when it was changed was that Tony Lacazzi, none of you know him, I do. You know Tony. Tony was on the city council, was the mayor pro tem. Tony lived on Stowe Lane. He lived across the street. He lived a couple doors down from Eric Farage. Tony had a bunch of empty lots on Stowe, and Tony was petrified that somebody was going to put up a wall along the street and block his view, because he couldn't see across the street then. So Tony was very big in pushing, if you lived on the lake, you shouldn't be allowed to have a solid fence, because he didn't want to block the view of the lake. That was Tony's big thing. And the council agreed, that makes sense. I agree with it too. There's no reason, we don't have walls along the street. That's bad. When the council put it in, they said no walls running down the sides. Now, that's okay, and I agree with that too. But you can't have a solid wall around the lake anyway on the sides because you're in the floodplain. It's not permitted in the floodplain because water has to go in and out. The catch is, we've run into a problem over the last several years where people have put in pools or they have a patio right behind their house, right here, and they've said, why can't I just have a little privacy fence right here, not down at the lake, just right here next to my pool, just so I'm not looking at Clint, looking through my wrought iron fence. And it's not, we've had people come in and say, that's a problem. They said, well, this doesn't make any sense. I'm not blocking Clint's view of the lake. So what I'm asking the council to consider is there some constraint where we could say, look, you can't put it in floodplains, you definitely can't go near the water. But up near your house, is it 20 feet? Is it something reasonable where you can sit on your patio or you're cooking, your outdoor kitchen, and have a little bit of privacy, even if you are on the lake, from your next door neighbor who's 12 feet away from you. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there and seeing, does anybody have any opinion about that kind of thing? Or?
I agree with the review and updating it. I mean, obviously I'm a fan of that. But
It definitely needs to be updated. No mention of a plant as a fence barrier
Yeah,
in definitions. We went through that once before, but it was not, it's not in definition. As a realtor, I can tell you, it hurt the guy that was complaining, property value, not being able to see the lake. But that's exactly what she wanted to do. She had trees there before he built the house. Those trees mysteriously died.
Well, see, my
And she
impression
wanted
is,
to put them back.
And she was fine.
I mean, one of the problems one of the problems we had with the fence ordinance was over time, I've had people complain to me that the guy next door to me is putting up an outdoor kitchen. That's illegal under the fence ordinance. It's not a fence. The guy next door to me, he's got a camper parked on his driveway. That's a fence. Because they defined a fence to be an obstruction, a barrier. Yeah, and I'm dealing with people telling them that's not a fence. I had somebody complain to me, the neighbor on the empty lot put up a house. He said he shouldn't be allowed to do that because that's a barrier to me seeing the lake. His house is in the way. That's not allowed under the fence ordinance. That's true. It's a true statement that somebody did that. So, I mean, we got to clean this up. A fence is a fence. A fence is a fence, and I think if we give people a little bit of privacy around their pool, that's what Vicky was really upset about. The people that have pools were really upset that they didn't have any privacy next to their pool. They couldn't, because of this, the fence issue. So I think we can cure that. I don't think that's a problem if we cure it. Yes.
The only thing I would suggest in taking into consideration when you're doing that is not all the views are straight across the street. You know, people have different angles because it all loops around.
That's right.
And so even though the fence may run vertical to the house or perpendicular to the house, it still may obstruct a view from the side. So I guess we might want to consider how high and how far out they can go.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, no, I agree totally.
yeah,
And that's where,
8-foot fence doesn't necessarily, for privacy, you know, that
yeah,
it could be
that,
4 foot.
I agree. And so part of what I guess here's where I'm headed with this. I'm willing to draft something that tackles this, and then, but if you guys all say no, right now, then I'll try to draft something, and then we can hash it out.
No, absolutely. I think it's worth the time.
Because people are going to plant trees anyway. We can't stop somebody from planting a couple of trees. And that's what they're doing now. It's turning into a nightmare scenario of people concocting metaphysical fences. So,
We should be a little bit more friendly.
Shay, did you have a question?
Just real quick, I mean, and I appreciate you taking that on, but you're gonna have to be incredibly specific, because what's gonna happen is somebody's gonna, just like, I mean, if people are going to these leagues with trees, and then you give them, oh, fine, you can finally build this fence, it's gonna go crazy, and people are gonna go, well, it's around my pool. Well, my pool happens to be 30 feet in
No,
my
that's right.
backyard. you
That's
know?
right. That's what.
I went to private Catholic schools, and that whole, 3 inches above the knee skirt thing,
Yeah.
people find ways of getting around it.
So what I'm going to do is when I come back, I'm going to actually go out and measure some pools. I'm going to measure some pools I can do with the aerial photographs, with the aerials. I'm going to give you some numbers, like because I think it's got to be like you can go 15 feet. You can go. It's going to be a hard number. And if you put your pool 80 feet behind your house, tough noogies, then you're going to watch sailboats go by. So you already gave up your privacy. So if you're up next to your house, so we'll work that out. But I agree, that's got to be something to work out. Okay.
The only question I have, so the fence permits, the ordinance is pretty long. I want to clarify, are we only addressing section 3, waterfront fencing?
No, I have to rewrite the whole ordinance.
Okay, so we're going to rewrite the whole ordinance. We probably need to take some input, right?
The whole thing's fair.
I'm sorry?
The whole thing's
fair.
fair.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, because I think if you start messing with one thing, it's going to mess it up. So
It's almost just shred that one and start from scratch.
start from scratch. Okay. So what do you guys think? We need to get input. I mean, a fence thing is going to be, it's going to be a barrier. It's just
So,
that way, right?
Everybody's aware of it. Contact.
I'm going to
your
draft.
council member.
I'm going to take a first draft. I'm going to take a shot at a draft. Because as somebody who writes papers for a living, it's always easy to edit than it is to create. So,
Yeah, I'm
I'll
sorry,
start
I
with the
kind of
first
said that wrong.
Yeah.
If you have input, you gotta send it to Linda or Mark. You gotta avoid us getting into a.
yeah, if you have comments, you can send it to me. Or you can just wait till I come up with a draft. We're not going to pass it next month. But you know, I'll come up with a draft,
Write your council, get something.
and then we can go from there. Okay, but that's,
If
again,
one council member wants to sit down and work with Mark on it, that's fine.
that's right. If somebody wants to work with me, that's cool too.
So the citizens can't email us their opinion?
They can, but you can't then turn around and start emailing back to, then it's coming from you. It becomes everybody needs to go to Linda. Yeah, so we don't end up
So if
with,
somebody does, just send it to Linda.
Right,
Or
that'll
or
just-
reach out directly to Linda or Bonnie.
and then we'll just, again, you know,
Can I acknowledge and say I have received your?
sure, yeah.
Yeah, you can put them on a response to
Oh,
that.
yeah, we just don't want, we don't want to look like you and I are deliberating or, you know. So, again, part of the procedure is, you know, as for you, is that, you know, I'm not gonna spend the time writing a draft until the council says that's a worthwhile, we're on board with revising things. So now I'm gonna spend the time to actually write something that we can all have.
Wait till you bring it in and scrutinize it.
Oh, there you go, then you get a question. Okay,
Less than 5 pages.
next up, it will be, it'll be 2
Talking
pages.
about the mayor.
Good.
Shorter than the mayor's letter, that's the goal for any ordinance. All right, consideration of amendment to the builder packet, sewer taps, Mr. Bouchard, that's on you.
So I think this one's pretty
Oh,
straightforward.
wait, I'm sorry, I skipped one.
Yeah.
Oh, I skipped one. All right, consideration of updating the impact fee ordinance. Okay, so what this is, Clint and I met with the engineers, and we met with our attorneys, and we discussed whether or not it was worthwhile for us to update the impact fee study that we did. The impact fee study was already approved last year. It's already in place. We have the impact fees in. We allocated the money for that. We didn't spend all the money. That's why the money's already there. There's no new money for this task. That's why but what it is the following. When we did the impact fee study, they have to make assumptions. How many houses are there going to be? What are we going to do with certain things? And we now have better numbers, we have better information. For instance, we know now, before we didn't know the well we would put in. So we were waiting on a well study. So the engineer just put in there, you know, like $3 million for a well. Well, now we know what kind of well we need. We know how the depth, we know what it's going to cost. So now we know the right number. So we need to revise the impact fees to put in the right numbers. There's also several ways you can handle the infrastructure, the on-site. There's different ways you can handle overing, how they have to oversize off-site. There's different ways. Our attorney has advised us to do it a different way. There's an alternative way to do it, which changes the fees. Okay, so it's a different way of doing it. It actually is, I think, a better way to do it. Okay,
Yeah,
but
it's more appropriate for our town.
I think it's better for our town being a small town. It's a question of who plays banker. Okay, and we want them to play banker. But in the original impact fee study, the traditional way is the city plays banker. If somebody needs to oversize something, the city fronts the rest of the money because they're overdoing it for others. And then when the others come online, the city gets reimbursed. That's the tradition.